coming up on the summer edition of Carolina Week.
A homeless man survives an attack. You could be the key to identifying the assailants.
Rescue efforts are taking a pretty wild turn down in Pittsboro. I'll tell you more coming up.
In sports, success for UNC runners isn't anything new. But what if an athlete's more than 3 times older than an incoming freshman?
Meteorologist Bob Ellis has your forecast.
All that plus a ride in a pedicab. Carolina Week starts right now. Hello, and welcome to the July 19th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Lindsay Michael.
And I'm Caitlin Kleinard. A violent beating on Franklin Street has a homeless man in the hospital. Police say the attack could be gang-related. Attacked and beat 49-year-old Randolph Long early Sunday morning. Please be aware that this next image might be disturbing to some viewers. This is the place where police found Long barely conscious after being punched by what witnesses describe as a group of black male teens wearing black t-shirts. Police are investigating the possibility of gang activity. Spokeswoman Jane Cousins says this isn't the first act of aggression against the homeless in Chapel Hill.
We have had other incidents where homeless people have been assaulted. Sometimes it's by other homeless people. We had one where a man was actually assaulted and was physically assaulted and sexually assaulted by a group of young men. That was about a year ago.
Police presence has been steadily increased on Franklin Street in the past year, thanks in part to a state grant to combat gang-related activity. We learned late Wednesday afternoon the victim is out of the hospital. Police are asking for anyone with information relating to the crime to call 968-2760.
And you might want to make sure you have all your tires the next time you get in your car. Jessica Floyd says certain tires are high on the list for thieves.
Someone is stealing tires from vehicles at UNC. The tires under your car aren't targets. It's the spare tires on the back of SUVs. Zippered cases are the easiest to open, making the lug nut the only difference between having a tire and being tireless. But you can protect your vehicle.
If the tire on the back of your SUV is stolen, it can cost up to $700 to replace it. To avoid that hefty price tag, you should consider a hard case like this one, which only costs $100.
Other options for protecting your spare tire include storing your tire in the trunk or putting it in the back seat. The bottom line, a tire on the back is just too tempting. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jessica Floyd, Carolina Week.
Tires aren't the only thing Chapel Hill students need to lock up. Theft is on the rise because students are holding doors open for people who might not live in their dorm. Officials say theft would decrease if all students use their own keys to enter the dorm. Housing's Rick Bradley says having too much Southern hospitality and holding the doors for others can be dangerous.
We consider the front doors of a residence hall to be the front doors of someone's home. And so if you don't know the person who's coming in behind you, it's best not to let them into the front door of your building.
The next time this door closes, make sure everyone walking in is someone you know.
And important alerts won't just interrupt your favorite television shows anymore. Your cell phone conversations might be interrupted too. The government is considering a way to send national emergency alerts via cell phones, websites, and handheld computers. Text messaging is also an option. This is thought to be the best way to reach the public because anywhere you look, you can find a cell phone. If approved, the new alert systems will begin in 2007. It will notify citizens of natural disasters and national security alerts. National security concerns have brought airport codes under the microscope, and smaller airports are hurrying to keep up with regulations. Soon, the skies will be clear over Horace Williams Airport. Planes like this one won't be flying into the airport after July 24th. UNC officials say they're closing the airport to make repairs on the runway and make other improvements to meet FAA requirements. More than 20 planes are based at the airport, and most will have their flights rescheduled to RDU. Horace Williams Airport will remain closed for 3 weeks. Most of us reach for our painkillers when we have aches and pains, but there is an alternative. Acupuncture has been around for centuries, although it is still unknown to much of the Western world. Reporter Susan Tart has the story of one treatment you might want to try.
Chances are your medicine cabinet is full of pain relievers, vitamins, creams, and pills prescribed from a doctor. And if you're like most Americans, you've never thought about having needles stuck in you instead. Dr. Remy Cueto is one of the nation's leading acupuncture researchers. He says acupuncture is safer than many medicines.
One of the advantages of acupuncture is that, ironically, even though it's somewhat of an invasive procedure because you're using needles and you're inserting needles in people, it is safer than most medications that we use, including Tylenol.
Similar to Tai Chi, acupuncture is an ancient Chinese practice that is thought to restore the body's energy. The process requires sticking needles into the skin at certain pressure points to relieve pain and release endorphins. Dr. Wu-Nian Chen works in conjunction with Dr. Cueto. He was born in China, where acupuncture is more prevalent. Acupuncture has just started to gain credibility in America, and the doctors agree it has healing effects that can supplement Western medicine.
You might think a needle this big might cause a lot of pain, but for acupuncture, that's not necessarily the case.
The needles are so small and they're finely polished, and so you aren't puncturing the tissues, you're really displacing the tissues, and so there's rarely any bleeding.
Winnie Wiseman is receiving acupuncture treatment for her knee. She didn't even flinch when the needles went in.
I just take deep breaths, and it's just a moment. It's just a very, very short moment, and I'm very comfortable right now. I don't feel any pain at all.
If acupuncture is all it's pinned to be, then our medicine cabinets might one day look like sewing baskets. In Chapel Hill, I'm Susan Tart, Carolina Week.
Proponents say acupuncture can have great effects, but it's a bit expensive. Treatments run on average between $60 and $120.
Next time you have a headache, wait before you reach for a bottle of Tylenol. A recent study found that Tylenol can be bad for the liver. Researchers are trying to determine whether the damage is caused by long-term high-dose use. This study suggested that heavy drinkers take no more than 2 grams daily. Sutton's pharmacist John Woodward says you shouldn't take Tylenol if you're going to be drinking. He says the study, which gave participants the maximum dose of Tylenol for 2 weeks, shows that too much of a good thing can be bad.
I think that when anyone takes large doses of any kind of drug, such as a popular drug like Tylenol, they're going to develop problems over the long haul.
Woodward still swears by Tylenol and says it's safe as long as you're taking it in the recommended doses.
And there are some exotic animals just down the road from us here in Chapel Hill. Reporter Katie Klein is here to tell us just how to get up close and personal with them. Katie?
The Carnivore Preservation Trust in Pittsboro recently reopened its gates and refocused its efforts on rescue.
Tigers, leopards, and kinkajous? These animals aren't exactly native to North Carolina, but the Carnivore Preservation Trust in Pittsboro works to rescue these and other animals like the binturong and the kyrkyral. CPT started more than 25 years ago and just recently reopened its gates to the public. There are nearly 100 animals on site, and Executive Director Pam Falk says tours are a good way to educate people.
It's hard to teach people about these animals if they're not seeing them and coming to care about them. So all of our tours are educational. That's the only way you visit CPT is by reservation on a tour.
The center is shifting its focus from breeding to rescue. Many of the animals are from private residences or were abandoned, like Kayla and Raja. They were found alongside a highway near Charlotte.
We decided to change our mission statement to being a sanctuary for these kinds of animals, doing rescue and sanctuary, and conservation education.
The nonprofit group owns 55 acres of land, but only uses 35 for now. That gives CPT room to expand and add areas like the new quarantine facility, which is under construction.
We must help people understand what's happening to them in their native habitats and what we need to do to stop that, because we're losing species every single day.
And Lindsay, CPT relies on donations and volunteers. You can even adopt one of the animals. For more information about how you can help, go to our website at carolinaweek.org.
Well, that looks like a lot of fun and fulfilling too. Thanks, Katie. Well, after the break, we'll show you a whole new way to roll around town.
We took a closer look at the Chapel Hill taxi service that's helping footsore citizens get where they're going.
a whole week. Just for a whole week. Hey, excuse me? Excuse me, sir. Something wrong? Yeah, there's something wrong. You want to get me some whole wheat? Oh, come on. Hey, hey, amigo. Hey, I asked you for whole wheat bread. This is not what I wanted. El Wheato.
Sorry for the confusion.
You know, that's the problem with these people. If you want to serve Americans, you got to learn to speak the language. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir. I don't. Enjoy your lunch.
Imagine the power of one voice. Click freedomcenter.org to find yours.
You might have seen hardworking bikers taking people on area tours in pedicabs. Reporter Will Weldon went in for a closer look at the idea and the people behind the new method of transportation.
Greenway pedicabs are the new hit in Chapel Hill and Carrboro. Members of SURGE, Students United for a Responsible Global Environment, started the service in early July as a clean alternative to automobiles in the community. SURGE Director Dennis Marcato Soriano is the manager of Greenway.
For all the new drivers, we have a little training where we try to give them some experience before they go out on the road and have customers and everything. And we have insurance, so we're out here ready to serve.
Marcato Soriano got the idea for pedicabs from time he spent in India, where they have lots of rickshaws in the streets. But this version is equipped with lights, turn signals, and bells for added safety. And they cost about $4,000 each, so they're an investment.
We're not here to make a lot of money, we're here to provide a service, and we're here to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So we want to be giving people as many rides as we can.
Greenway has already seen a small profit, and people are taking notice. The fun trikes fill a niche in the community by providing a local and reliable service. The bonus is the drivers operate on burritos instead of gasoline.
Plus, you have to admit, it's fun riding in the open air, and it's a pretty stylish way to arrive at your favorite restaurant or bar.
And most customers have given good responses. Some of the first riders found the pedicabs to be a romantic addition for a summer evening out.
But like they really enjoyed it, especially the downhills, like getting the breeze in your face and everything. It's just like, I don't know, it's a lot more relaxing way to ride than I think a taxi would be.
And pedicabs should prove practical in Chapel Hill, where taxis aren't always available.
People get caught drunk driving here left and right, and the fact of the matter is the taxi cabs are really expensive, and they're going to get more expensive. So it seems like that's another place where the pedicabs would be useful.
So the next time you're thinking about how to get somewhere, you might consider pedal power instead of horsepower. In Chapel Hill, I'm Will Weldon, Carolina Week.
Pedicabs cost only a few bucks per person around town, and the group is still hiring drivers. You can get more information at carolinaweek.org.
As the summer draws to a close, eager performers are preparing for the next round of American Idol auditions, but local hopefuls might have to make a long trip to have a chance. Although more than 8,000 people came to Greensboro last year for Idol auditions, locals with good vocal skills might be sad to hear American Idol won't hold auditions in North Carolina this year, even though 4 of these semifinalists in the 2006 show were from the Tar Heel State. UNC alum David Simmons is an avid watcher of American Idol.
You got Clay Aiken from 2003, Fantasia Bruno from 2004. There was a couple good ones up there from North Carolina this year as well. I just think it's a real shame that they're not coming back to North Carolina. Obviously, there's a lot of good talent here.
Fox announced that the show will hold auditions in 7 cities, the closest one to North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee.
Chapel Hill is buzzing about a different sort of game, the North Carolina State Lottery. Some people scratch it off to win the big bucks, and other people play Powerball. For them, there's something to look forward to. When the fall rolls around, you'll have new reasons to stand in line to play the state lottery. 2 new games that are similar to Powerball will allow players to pick daily numbers and have better chances of winning money.
Just bought my first scratch off today, actually, and didn't win, but I'm going to keep trying, and hopefully with the new game, who knows, I might get lucky and be a millionaire or something.
You won't be able to win a cool million, but the Pick 3 and Pick 5 games will have top prizes up to $50,000.
And have you been stuck in your car at a campus crosswalk waiting for about 50 high school kids in jerseys to cross the road? Reporter Jerry Simmons says, don't get frustrated. Those campers are actually saving you money.
You've seen the buses and you've seen the campers with the matching jerseys and smiles on their faces. Whether they're here for basketball camp, a C-Top session, or any of the other camps and conferences, there's one thing they all have in common: UNC housing.
Many campers are living in dorms like this one during the summertime. Housing would like to see its buildings filled during the summer because both housing and the university reap the benefits.
Assistant Director of Housing, Dee Allard, says housing benefits now and students will benefit during the academic year as well.
I know we tend to break pretty much even so that we can, again, defray some of the costs for the student in the academic year. That's why we do summer camps and conferences. But in general, we try to make a profit of about $1 million for our summer programs.
Aside from profit, Allard says the biggest benefit for the university is the possibility of recruiting young Tar Heels.
They're also potential Carolina students for the future, so it's very important that we impress them and say, hey, come to Carolina, this is a great experience.
Camper Lonnie Atkinson says he already knows where he's going to college.
I like standing in the stand in the dorms with different college students and meeting people that go to UNC. That's a college I would like to attend.
The camps will run through August 1st, and after that, housing will prepare residence halls for the school year. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jerry Simmons, Carolina Week.
And camps really are for everybody. Campers' ages range from 10 years old in cheerleading camps to 70 years young in professional conferences and research programs. And I don't know if you knew this, but I actually started out as a young Tar Heel in one of those cheerleading camps when I was 10 years old, and that's how I knew I was going to come here. So
I went to a couple camps myself, sports camps. Speaking of sports camps outside, it has been so hot. Meteorologist Rob Ellis is here to tell us more about the weather.
Yeah, those poor kids out there, they're probably sweating it up trying to run back and forth, and temperatures have been in the 90s, so it's really been kind of oppressive, but it looks like things may get a little bit better in the coming weeks. You know, when it's this hot outside, you really want to stay as close to the AC as possible, but there's, at the very least, hide under the shade. Will the temperatures continue to rise? I'll let you know about the weather for the weekend coming up after the break. Stay right here.
It's springtime in the forest of the black-tailed deer. The young male is feeling playful. It's time for tag. The female flicks her ears. Her way of saying, "Catch me if you can."
To change the world, you don't have to be rich or famous or play ball or lead countries. All you have to do is tell your family you want to be an organ donor. Talk to your family about organ donation. Talk to your family about donating life.
All right, welcome back to Carolina Week. Let's talk about those headlines because we have been dealing with a lot of hot weather. In fact, the hottest weather that we've seen so far this year, a heat wave, temperatures up in the mid to upper 90s, even a few places down south reaching 100. Places out west have really been dealing with some hot weather. However, we're going to see a little bit of relief from that heat, as well as a little bit of more moisture moving into the area in the form of some showers and thunderstorms. And we had our second tropical storm of the season form, and it formed right off the coast of Carolinas. Now, when Alberto came through, it affected us, and it looks like Beryl is going to affect us just a little bit. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's look at the big picture right now and talk about the satellite. We do have a little disturbance to the north. That's not going to bother us, and some pop-up showers along the south and east. However, there's our little tropical system, Beryl, that we've been discussing over the past couple of days weather-wise, and it looks like we've been lucky that's brushed the coast and we're not going to see it here. However, if we zoom into the southeast, you'll be able to see a few of those pop-up showers that are beginning to develop. If we zoom into the southeast, you'll be able to see those, and typical summertime pattern that we're in, end of July, it's very hot out there. We get a little bit of moisture and begin to see those little popcorn-type thunderstorms, and you'll even see them a lot really down south. And if we switch over to radar, you'll be able to see those as well. Looking at radar, you really see these stronger echoes, these reds and yellows, and that's really heavy rainfall that's coming down. And it looks like a little line formed there through the triangle, and that's probably going to be the case over the next several days. Very hot outside, and with this moisture lingering, that's going to continue our chances for showers through the weekend, although I think many of us will be happy to see some of those showers to come through and cool it down a bit because it's been very hot outside. You also see those showers down to the south as well. Some very intense ones down there as well. Let's talk about the tropics a little bit. In fact, looking at our tropical weather, now here's North Carolina, and we do have Tropical Storm Beryl that formed along the southeastern coastline. Fortunately, it just barely grazed North Carolina, and if you notice, the upper level pattern here is really shearing this all off to the south, to the north and east. It looks like that's going to be the general trend. It's going to sweep that up and take it out of our hair, and it looks like the impact for North Carolina is going to be very minimal from Tropical Storm Beryl, the second named tropical storm of the season. Let's hope we don't have another busy season like we did last year. Let's talk about the forecast right now for Chapel Hill. And now it looks like that we're going to see some conditions that are going to be a little bit better than what we've seen over the past several days. 91 for our high temperature on Thursday there, and that's going to be good news because we have been seeing those temperatures in the 95, 96, 97 range. As we go into Friday, we're cooling that down out of the 90s into the 80s, and looking into Saturday and Sunday, we're bringing it down into the upper 80s to where we have been at, or where we should be at this time of year. Temperatures overnight, though, 70, so a little muggy out there. Chance for thunderstorms through the weekend, and as we look at some of the other locations throughout North Carolina, it looks like those chances for thunderstorms are going to continue to be the trend. In fact, if we head to the beaches here, you're also going to see those storms. If you are heading out to the beaches today or perhaps over the next several days, it looks like we will have those chances for some cloud cover in place because we will see those showers 88 and 87, and then checking out the mountains, it looks like your chances for showers are there as well, although the temperatures aren't too bad. But it looks like the story is going to be a chance of typical summertime afternoon thunderstorms all throughout the state.
Well, you know, maybe they'll cool it off a little bit.
That's what we need. And, you know, we all live in North Carolina. We know what it's like here in the summer, so we're used to it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Rob.
All right, well, sportscaster Philip Jones joins us now, and football fans won't have to wait long to see some action.
I know you're really ready to get back to Keenan Stadium, see some football. You got less than a month and a half till football games start. After the break, stick around. We're going to talk about that a little more. Also, just ahead in sports, we'll show you one local man who's been training for the U.S. Track and Field Outdoor Masters meet for a long time. Stick around.
You know, this used to be a good neighborhood. Now it's a mess. You got all these polyps running around. Stick it up.
Colon cancer almost always starts with the polyp. Get the polyp early and stop colon cancer before it even starts.
Where'd you think you were running to, huh?
I didn't even see you guys there.
Get the test, get the polyp,
I want to talk to my lawyer!
get the cure.
I got a phone call!
Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign? Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Philip Jones. Most Tar Heel athletes are gone for the summer, but not all of them. UNC's Associate Vice President of Finance, Jay Smith, is training for the United States Track and Field Outdoor Masters meet. The meet will be in Charlotte on August 3rd. It's for competitors older than age 30 and is divided by age groups. Smith will be competing in the 55 to 59-year-old division and running the 800-meter race. Smith has been running competitively for 10 years and says he loves to compete and win.
U.S. Master Championships in Charlotte, there will be over 1,000 athletes entered over a 4-day period. So it's a big deal.
Smith has been training with Coach Jim Husk for 3 years and runs the 800 meters in 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Coach Husk expects him to do well at the national meet. For those of you who, like me, can't wait until September for the first Tar Heel football game, don't worry, there's some relief in sight. The UNC football team will host Meet the Heels on August 12th in Kenan Stadium. Players and coaches will sign autographs and meet with fans, and you'll have a chance to pick up some UNC memorabilia. The team will even have a kids zone for junior Tar Heels. When it comes to action on the field, UNC women's soccer coach Anson Dorrance has the best record in college soccer history, but a nearly 10-year-old lawsuit is putting Dorrance back in the limelight for his conduct off the field. Reserve goalkeeper Melissa Jennings sued Dorrance, who you see right here, in 1998, accusing him of sexual harassment. Her lawsuit was dismissed in 2004, but a federal court recently decided to hear Jennings' appeal. Dorrance, who has led UNC to 18 national championships, denies making any harassing remarks and declined to comment. As if being the 6th pick in the Major League Baseball draft wasn't enough, Andrew Miller has another baseball award to put on his resume. The former UNC hurler picked up the 2006 Roger Clemens Award for the nation's top collegiate pitcher. Miller led the Tar Heels to the College World Series this season while posting a 13-2 record with a 2.48 ERA. He also set a school record for strikeouts in a season with 133 and struck out 325 batters during his 3-year career. Look for more Andrew Miller pitching at the next level soon. He was drafted by the Detroit Tigers and isn't expected to hang around in the minors for too long. And ladies, when most people hear the ACC Big Ten Challenge, they think of basketball, and the Heels will be competing against Ohio State on November 29th, but the wrestling team will also be competing in its own form of the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Look for more information about that on our website.
All right, that's very interesting. Thanks, Phil.
No problem.
Thanks, Phil.
All right.
Well, there are few sights as exciting as shelves upon shelves upon shelves of bright red clearance signs.
And now Carrboro has added another meaning to bargain shopping. When we come back, we'll show you how you can really save some cash.
Sniffing things to get high can deprive your brain of the oxygen it needs to keep you alive.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Imagine a market where everything is free.
We're not talking about a cheap yard sale. We're talking free, gratis, no dinero. Catherine Harrell has the story.
If you want goods or services, this is the place to be. And who can beat the price?
The market is a place where one person's trash could be another person's treasure. People bring items from home to give away to other people for free.
Among the things you can find at the market are clothes, books, and appliances. Even free food. Carrboro resident Emily Gordon attends the market regularly.
I have come to this for close to a year. I think it's probably one of the nicest things that could be done. I think it's a true Carrboro event. The market is really, really free. Anything that is put out can be given away to anyone in the community who feels a need for it.
The market is a way of recycling or trading. Monica Gongali is one of the planners.
Basically, the idea is that people sort of call for a free market and set a time and a place and invite everybody to come and bring anything that they have that they don't want anymore, that they want to give away for free, and people come and take anything that's there.
The market originated in larger cities and recently came to Carrboro, but originally it wasn't held on a regular basis. Now the market takes place monthly for people to enjoy. In Carrboro, I'm Catherine Harrell, Carolina Week.
Well, that sounds like a place I want to visit next year. I have a lot of stuff to bring and could certainly use some free things.
Yeah, me as well. I think so. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.